I would like to call to order the regularly scheduled board meeting of the Paris Union School District Number 95 Board of Education for Monday, May the 6th. Let the record show that all members are present except for member Calvert. The voting sequence for this meeting is as follows: Hassler, Isaac, Sanchez, Tuttle, Bailey, and Davis. Audience to visitors. Would anybody in the audience like to address the board this evening? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda. In your notebooks, you have the minutes from the April 8th meeting, and a list of bills, and the March treasurer's report that was handed out before you got here tonight. So, are there any questions on the consent agenda this evening? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Right.
Hassler?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey? Davis is yes. Secretary's report? All right. So we'll move to the canvass of votes. The election was held on April 22nd, 2013, and the results are John Sanchez, 546 votes, Doug Hassler, 599 votes, Tom Tuttle, 545 votes, William Bailey, 559 votes. So at this time, I'd ask for a motion to approve the canvass of votes.
So moved.
We have a second? Second. Hassler?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Davis is yes. So at this time, I will adjourn the old board meeting, and then we will start the reorganization. I guess the oath of office is first. So everybody who's elected, come on up. Right up here, Tom.
Okay. Do you want to read off it? She's got copies if you want to have one. There you go.
She doesn't open it.
Cheat sheets.
Oh, thank you. Nice to meet you.
You guys will raise your right hands, please. I state your name. Do solemnly swear
We solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of board member of Paris Union School District Number 95 to the best of my ability.
of the office as board member, Harris Union School District 95, to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
John.
Thank you. You need these, so I can take it over.
Okay, at this time, I'd ask for a nomination for the position of board president.
I move member Davis be retained as president of the board. Second.
Any discussion? If not, Hassler,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Tuttle,
Yes.
Bailey, Davis abstains. Okay, now I'd like to ask for nominations for vice president.
I nominate Doug Ashton.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, Hassler,
Abstain.
Isaac,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Tuttle,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Davis is yes. I now would like a motion to set the compensation for the secretary of the board. In the past, I think there's been no compensation, is that correct? Okay.
You can get
This one,
compensated.
this one I stated.
So the motion is there would be no compensation for the secretary. Hassler?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Davis is yes. At this time, let's see, we have to nominate a secretary now. I need a motion for a secretary for the board.
Great.
For secretary right now.
Secretary.
We just said we weren't gonna compensate.
You're right.
I'd nominate Nito.
Okay,
Second.
okay. Any discussion? If not, Haslett?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey? Davis is yes. Now we are going to set the compensation of the treasurer. And in the past, the treasurer served as the secretary without compensation. So I make a motion that the treasurer receive no compensation. Haslett?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey? Davis is yes. We need a motion for treasurer of the school district.
I nominate Amy. Second.
Second. Haslett?
Yes.
Isaac? Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Davis is yes. Now we make a motion to employ an attorney for the district. And I would make a motion that we retain our current law firm of Robbins, Swartz, Nicholas, Lifton, and Taylor.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, Haslett?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey? Davis is yes. We now need to set the times of our meetings, and they would remain the same the first Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Central Time. I guess I would make that motion. Any discussion? Hassler? Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey? Davis is yes. I'm going to ask for a motion to adopt the Roberts Rules of Orders to conduct our meetings. And the agenda format will be as it has in the past. And you want me to read that, Connie? Okay.
Hasn't changed.
Yeah, I guess I'd make the motion that our agenda would stay the same.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, Haslett?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey? Davis is yes. Okay, now we need I will call for a motion and second on the policy, rules, and regulations of Paris Union District 95 becoming official policy, rules, and regulations of the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, Haslett?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Davis is yes. In your board packet, there's a listing of designated depositories. Would someone like to make a motion to accept those?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, Hassler?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Davis is yes. I would like to make a motion authorizing Superintendent Sutton to act as the official agent of the Board of Education.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, Hassler?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Davis is yes. Okay, now I'm gonna ask for a motion and second authorizing the superintendent and the secretary of the board to begin preparation of a proposed budget calendar by January 2013. By January 13? Okay. And a tentative budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2013, and to present the tentative budget to the Board of Education at the second regular meeting in September 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, Hassler?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Davis is yes. Now I'd like to ask for a motion and second that the attached resolution establishing the impress fund be adopted.
Second.
Haslett?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Davis is yes. And now we'll turn it over to the superintendent's agenda.
One other item we have, that I did put in just to your memo, there's been some discussion of the co-op board and placement of the co-op board. I did ask if anyone else was interested in being appointed to that board. We had at least one board member who expressed an interest, and if no one's opposing, as of July 1, Mr. Hassler would step down from that board, and Mr. Bailey would be a member of the co-op board.
I don't think we've ever voted in the past, or we can.
No, we just
Oh,
appoint.
just one, okay. All right.
So I did want to make that announcement. And then first on my agenda this evening, presentation from Wentz School, Mrs. Perry and Mrs. Larson. And so the Wentz students are here to make a presentation on the book writing activity that the entire student body took part in at Wentz School this year. So Jamie?
Alright, I am Jamie Larson, and I brought 3 wonderful students from Wentz. Girls, welcome over here. Don't be shy. This year, at Wentz, what we did was almost every single student in the entire building took part in taking a piece of their own writing, and they were able to use a book publishing program online to take their writing, add either clip art or their own illustrations to be able to make their own hardback book. So it was just something really exciting. And I have 3 girls here, 1 from each grade level, to just share just a couple of questions I gave them to share about their books. So we'll start with Claire. You want to go ahead and start?
I learned how people make books and how long it takes to make one. I drew my own pictures for my book. I like typing my book. It was really fun to make one.
Do you want to show them your book and tell them what was your book about?
My book was all about me.
Olivia, why don't you just share what you liked best about doing the book, what you learned, and what was your favorite thing?
I learned that a lot of work goes into the book. I liked that we got to make our own ideas in our book. I did my own pictures, and it was fun.
You want to share what was your book about?
My book was about a little girl that lost her dad, and so her mom got me to another guy, and
Your dad wrote the book.
It's like so far.
All right, and then
Very nice.
all right, we have Sarah Isaac. She's here from 5th grade, and you're going to share what you learned, what you like best. Did you draw your own pictures or use the clip art? Because the program did allow them to either upload pictures or they could use their own clip art. And a lot of these students, they could help us. They knew so much about the technology, so it was just great for them to be able to incorporate that into writing.
I learned how to run the program and how much effort goes into making a book. And my favorite part was getting to be creative and putting whatever I want into the book. And the pictures I used for the clip art and yeah, they're for the clip art.
And what was your book about?
My book was about a clown, like an evil clown.
All right. And then we did write thank you letters. Foundation was very helpful in allowing our students to be able to get these books at a great price. So this is something very exciting. I hope that we can do it again next year because I know parents enjoyed it, the kids loved it. It just gets those students that aren't writers just really engaged in it and really excited about it. So that's all we have to share. So I do have, they have their books, or I have other books too that you can kind of look through if you want to see them.
We're passing them around, so.
Yeah, you can pass it around. Thank you.
And next, and you can pass those around, is if you're going to stay, that's fine for a while. If not, we'll get the books back to you very shortly.
Oh, this is something new?
I know, aren't they good?
Well, the parents could buy another copy of it if they wanted to.
Oh, you're selling them?
No.
No, we're selling them? They're really good. That's a nice idea. So the whole school, every wrote a book?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go ahead, and it's the kind of the Larson show this evening. Jamie is Jeremy's wife, as most of you know, as board members. She teaches at Wentz, and Jeremy's our new principal at Mayo School. And he's here to discuss some of the new programs and activities he has in mind for Mayo School for next year. And you had most of those included in your packet to review.
Yeah. I apologize I gave you guys so much, but I'd rather give you too much information than not enough. Mayo has been working, I would say, since January for next year, as far as just refining down our process to make sure we have everything that we want prepared for our students for next year. And one of the things that we've done is we've had an activity once a month for our incoming fifth graders to help them transition over. We've done pizza with the principals, a scavenger hunt. Just recently had where the parents came in and actually walked the schedules with the students and got to meet everyone in the building. This Saturday we're having our 5th grade, 6th grade dance. And one of the things that I wanted to make just public to everyone, including the newspaper and our board, is that this summer we have several different activities going on, such as a fit camp for the entire month of June. Or we also have a back to school dance, a summer ball. We have 2 movie nights. There's just a lot going on where kids can get involved, come to a safe place, really just feel comfortable transitioning into our school and really form that family connection so kids would want to be at school. And you can check it all out at www.mayomidddleschool.com on our calendar. And we're just working really hard to get our 5th graders involved right off the bat so they feel like Mayo Middle School is their home. So. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is Mayo Middle School is, we're starting some new programs next year, and we're excited about that. And it's just kind of a light thing that we were able to add in without too much money, without adding new staff or anything, but we're going to add 3 new courses to our course offerings. One of them is foreign language explorations. We're going to add digital journalism and service learning. As of right now, none of these will count towards GPA or like promotion procedures, so it's not like you're going to fail a class and be able to pick one of these up. But what it does do is it's all about exposure. Getting kids involved, exposing them to a foreign language or exposing them to journalism, research, informational writing, so that kids can feel a part of a small community, so kids can get involved and so that they can be exposed to it. And one of the ones that I'm proud of is just service learning. Next year, Mayo Middle School's PBIS theme is Students in Action. And the very first day of school, we've already planned a community service project for next year so that we can get our students involved in community service. We have several students who are very active in 4-H or in their churches and other activities, and we want them to be able to have a process to record that, and we'll record it on the report cards for them as credit so that kids can show people and be proud of all the service they give to our community, because it's important to us to have that community feeling in Mayo Middle School. So that's just some of the things that I wanted to present to the board tonight.
That's one thing too, and I know you're doing some new things with getting 8th graders acclimated to high school. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Okay. I've been working with Dave Meister to just get kids, because it's as important to me, and I know my students probably think I'm a little crazy for it. It's important to me as once you're my student, you're always my student. So I've told them, even as you go over to the high school, I'm going to be coming over to check on you because your success is my success, and I want to make sure that we share that success together. And so, for example, I actually took my kids over one night for a tour of the high school, just the 8th graders. We asked no parents to come. We did the same thing with our 5th graders, and it's not that we didn't want parents to be there because of any type of distraction, but kids just feel more comfortable asking questions. For example, my fifth graders, when they came, they probably asked me for 45 minutes just about locker combinations. And I know that if my parents were there, they probably wouldn't have asked very many questions. As far as bringing them over to the high school, I brought them over, and they probably asked Mr. Meister about half an hour's worth of questions, just about, do I really get a swirly, can I have my cell phone, and everything about that, about is there an elevator and pool, and everything else that you could possibly think of. So we've been working really hard. I was able to take them on a tour, walked over to Joe's Pizza, sat down and had pizza with them. Again, it's really important that kids can feel a connection, and I want them to have a connection with me. And Mr. Meister came for pizza with us. We spent another day over there. The high school had their activities fair. The high school has also had a parent informational night where they had chili supper. And so there have been things over at the high school that we've been bringing the kids over to talk with them about. I personally made a visit to every advisory, just giving my personal advice as to, you know, some of my suggestions for course offerings as far as making sure to challenge yourself and you know, make sure that you put your best foot forward. And so we've definitely been working with them. My advisory teacher spent an entire day going over a mock schedule with them before they actually came into schedule, just so when guidance counselors did come in, they would know what it feels like, what questions to ask and everything. So even just mock scheduling, I know that sounds kind of silly, but I went over to the fifth grade this last week and spent the morning doing a locker competition with kids, because if they're going to ask me in half an hour about locker combos, I'm going to go over and make sure they actually know how to open them. So I gave them a couple months back locker combos, and I went over there and had a contest with every fifth grade class to see which kid could open them up the fastest. It was a pretty big deal, and they got to win little basketballs and gift cards and things like that. They really had a good time. And it's also another opportunity for them to see me as a principal in their environment before they come into mine. And it's all about building those relationships. So I have to say, it's just not me, it's definitely my staff working very hard on forming those relationships. You know, they are there late nights when they come on in. And I'm going to have a ton of them chaperoning the dance with me this weekend and doing a lot of the activities this summer. So I'm very proud of it at Mayo Middle School.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And recording those community services will be a really good idea, because as you know, starting at Mayo even, there are scholarships and things that you can write for, and we tend to forget some of the things that we do in some of our service work. So that'll be a really good way for students to realize how much they really are doing or contributing to the community. That's a good idea. All right. Yeah, this would be a good point. Thank you, girls. Next item on the agenda is a retirement request you may not want to honor. Oh, sorry. Because you probably want her to stay longer than this. But we did receive a letter from Sharon Wright dated April 15th indicating her intent to retire at the end of the 2016-17 school year. She's also requesting the retirement incentive as per the contract. At this time, I'd ask the board to approve Sharon's retirement request along with the incentive.
So, sorry.
Any discussion?
Just how wonderful her classes have been. That I told her personally, and I'll say it publicly, that I know my kids learn to study in her class.
And I have to second that. It's been really wonderful having my kids in Mrs. Wright's class.
She's not old enough.
See, if their kids hadn't already gone through, they wouldn't be approving this.
Yeah, that was my sixth grade teacher.
See what I mean?
Touche, can't
Old enough, right?
Can't be.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Haslett?
Yes.
Isaac?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Tuttle?
Yes.
Bailey? Davis is yes.
Okay, next, employments. First, I'll start with Title I Summer School. Once again, we'll be offering a summer enrichment program from June 3rd to June 28th at Wentz Elementary School. And this, I would ask the board to approve the following staff members: Mick Roberts, Stephanie Jones as middle school teachers, Jonathan Boren, Mary Ann Sedletzik, Cindy Wilson, and Debbie Dayton as elementary teachers, Sheila Rose as a paraprofessional, and Colby Julian for custodial services.
So moved.
You have a motion to approve?
Motion and second.
Okay, Haslett,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Tuttle,
Yes.
Bailey, Davis is yes.
Okay, we also offer some programs, special education programs. One, we have an art program. We also have speech and social work services. So I'd ask that the board would approve, and these run through June. I'd ask the board to approve the employment of Joe Ellen Henson for social work, Cindy Barbie for speech services, Cheryl Redmond as art teacher, Mary Frizz and Casey Redmond to serve as art assistants. And these are grant programs.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? If not, Haslett,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Tuttle,
Yes.
Bailey, Davis is yes.
Okay, you have a bank transfer.
They're for each of them.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's good. A bank transfer resolution, a copy in your packet, the amount of $61,049.45 to be transferred from the PCHS building account to the Paris Cooperative General Fund checking account. These would be for Turner Construction and BLDD. I'd ask that the board approve the bank transfer resolution.
So moved.
Any discussion? If not, Haslett,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Tuttle,
Yes.
Bailey, Davis is yes.
Okay, it's time again to renew our student accident insurance with First Agency. There is no increase in premium. It's available, this policy is available to parents at their cost. We always provide them with the information, they get a pamphlet, and if they would like to take out insurance while their child is at school, they can do so. I'd ask the board to approve the student insurance renewal with First Agency for the 13-14 school year.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, Haslett, Isaac,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Tuttle,
Yes.
Bailey, Davis is yes.
Okay, next we have, on the agenda, there's an athletic handbook and some coaching requirements that, Mr. Roberts and Mr. Larson have been working on. And they're pretty proud of, I think. We've not really had at Mayo, we've had athletic criteria and things to be involved, but, Jeremy felt like, and as well as Mick, that it would be nice to have everything written in the policies and the rules. That makes it easier for coaches, that makes it easier for everyone to know exactly what's expected. So they have those here tonight. If you have any questions about them, they also have coaching job descriptions, coaching evaluation forms, so it would be pretty, a lot more formalized than what we have done in the past. And in today's age, I think this will be a really good thing. If you have questions, though, you can ask either one of them, but I would ask that the board approve those.
I encourage it because it gives you something to stand on when you need to.
We tried to be, one of the things that I want to say in my outline is we tried to outline the process of how we went through there. I know that I'll be honest, I spent probably more time on, I know I spent more time on curriculum than I did athletics, which I think I should as a principal. One of the things that I would like to do for the future is just kind of make my athletic program maybe a little bit more clear cut. And so what we did is I, along with Mr. Roberts, contacted all the regional schools. Mr. Sperry had provided some of those handbooks also. We went through and looked at ISA rules. I met with my booster club parents because I figured they're going to want some input on it. So they actually gave us their input. Met with each of our coaches individually, and then we met with all our coaches as an entire group. So everything in the handbook is not a surprise to any of our coaches. It's not a surprise to our booster club. It's all in compliance with ISA rules. It's something that we went methodically over just to make sure. They're not very specific rules as far as making sure, every coach is going to have their own specialized rules. What this is to do is it's just to provide that general overbroad, if a kid gets in a fight, or if a kid's not at school, or transportation. I'm not telling the coach how to run their program specifically. I will work with them individually, but this is just those frequently asked questions that constantly pop up that we just want clarity in the process, and that's all that it is. It's basically, we haven't had a handbook in the past. We basically have a document now that provides the rules that we've always had. That way when we tell someone that's a rule, they say, well, where's the handbook? Where is that written? Well, now we have it clearly documented. So, you guys have any questions about it?
Sounds like a good idea.
We have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion? If not, Haslett, Isaac, Sanchez, Tuttle,
Yes.
Bailey, Davis is yes.
Okay, and we also have the other elementary and middle school and our Creative Center preschool handbooks for the board to approve. What the administrators have asked them to do, any changes that were made, they were to highlight for you. I don't believe there were many, other than there were typos, there were name changes for new employees, but anything else, if you have questions, please ask them. If you read something in any of the handbooks, but they're fairly similar to what we had in the past. So I would ask that the board approve the student handbooks for Memorial, Wentz, Mayo, and the Creative Center.
Any discussion? If not, Haslett,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Sanchez, Tuttle,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Davis is yes.
Okay, the only other thing I have under informational, calendar for the night, we have established our committee of 10, and we are going to have, well, Mrs. Bailey and I are going to meet very soon, but on the 15th of May would be our first committee meeting. The members would be from our board, Doug Hassler and Tom Tuttle, Kevin Nopel, Brandy Hodgson, and Amy Blystone would be other members, and I think Crestwood has already announced theirs. We'll be sending them information, have an agenda ready for that meeting on the 15th. So we'll be getting started on some of the issues to look into prior to hopefully putting a consolidation vote on the ballot.
And that's January, right? January.
We would get the question ready to put on by January, because you have to have it on so many months before the
When's the
ballot in
election?
April.
April, sorry.
But, yeah, the actual vote would be April, but the question needs to be prepared and all those questions answered about, before we get it there. So there'll be a little work to do. That's all of the superintendent's agenda.
Okay. Do we have any committee reports this evening? Public hearings and petitions, unfinished business, matters for follow-up, any new business, right to revert to prior order of business. We have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Hassler, Isaac, Sanchez, Tuttle,
Yes.
Bailey, Davis is yes, the meeting is adjourned.